Well, fear not, the HSBC Sevens will continue at the Nyayo National Stadium. They've just taken a short commercial break. Of course, they'll be back at exactly 3 p.m. for a 4:18 match that is between Germany and Belgium. That is in the men category. Uruguay, that has just been defeated by Kenya 17-7, will be facing off with Canada, and then Kenya will be facing USA. Let's continue supporting our Shujars and Lionesses as well, and keep it here at KBC. We'll be giving you all the live coverage that happens there in Nyayo National Stadium. My name is Abdiaziz Hashim. The sign language interpreter at the bottom of the screen is Byron Abuli. Here are some of the stories that are currently making headlines at this hour. Now, Valentine's Day was celebrated differently at the Osen Girls High School in Baringo County, where the focus was not only romantic love, but on the special bond between fathers and daughters. The school organized a unique father-daughter Valentine's Day, drawing fathers from as far and near to spend quality time with their children. Speaking during the event, Chief Principal Dr. Jennifer Otolo said the initiative aims to strengthen father-daughter relationships and give learners emotional support while in school. Students whose fathers didn't turn up for the event were also included, with male teachers stepping in the foster parents. The celebrations featured dances, a flower exchange, a cake cutting, and shared meals as families mingled freely at the school's ground.
We see fathers coming in to celebrate the day with their daughters. To us, this is a real great day because it shows a strong foundation in the family.
The importance of this celebrating the dad is because sometimes at home we don't get time to interact with them and tell them how we feel about them. So at least when we come during 14th, the day of love, we show them love.
Elsewhere, the Council of Governors have rejected the proposed 420 billion shillings equitable share revenue for the financial year 2026-2027 by the National Treasury. The governors argue the allocation is not sufficient to effectively support devolved functions and service delivery. Speaking in Matungu, Kakamega County, COG Finance Committee Chair Fernandez Baraza said county governments require at least 534 billion shillings as the allocation for the 26-27 financial year. But as I noted that the reduced allocation could delay in a full absorption of the universal health coverage personnel and hinder the settlement of a pending third and fourth phase salary harmonization obligations for the county staff, adding that counties are already grappling with financial pressures and rising operational costs.
Ni kwamba counties lazima zipewe shilingi bilioni 534 534 billion ili tuwezeshe kufanya maendeleo hapa. I want to register our rejection kwa ile mgao ambao umekuwa proposed na National Treasury of 420. 420 is a slap in the face of counties. Kwa sababu sisi ili tufanikishe maendeleo hapa lazima tupewe pesa ya kutosha.
Now to the classrooms, where educators, policymakers, technology partners and school leaders have continued to champion the use of AI technology among students across the country. Speaking in Nairobi during the official launch of the Experience AI program in Kenya, Felix Malombe, Executive Director of the STEAM Labs Africa, emphasized the urgency of AI education.
As a leader in the area of digital transformation, our education system is also changing. So it is the right time, it is the opportune moment to engage our learners on everything that has to do with AI, but specifically even creating with and creating AI itself.
I want to ask our teachers first to be open-minded enough to see that AI is not here to challenge your learning. AI is here to make your work easier.
By the teachers and administrators to step up their game on data protection, because opening up the world and the education sector to AI also opens up the risk of losing data and also the privacy of students being interfered with.
We are appealing to the government to ensure that there's equitable distribution of whatever they give to schools.
Elsewhere now, residents of Lari, Kinalewade in Kiambu County marked Valentine's Day with a different kind of gift. Free Healthcare organizers said the initiative was part of a wider effort to empower families through preventive care and early diagnosis while easing the burden of a rising medical cost. Here is Ian Zive with the County News Roundup.
The one-day medical outreach brought vital services closer to the community, offering blood pressure checks, diabetes screening, eye examinations, maternal health consultations, and general medical advice. Kiambu County officials have pledged to extend similar health outreach programs to other wards following the Valentine's Day medical camp.
What I've noted about the people of Lari is that oral health is a serious issue in this area of Lari. And I think it is prudent for the government to construct more dental clinics, employ dentists in the area, so that we can be able to promote preventive measures rather than curative measures.
In the meantime, the government has launched a crackdown on coffee cartels, with Agriculture Principal Secretary Dr. Paul Rono announcing a special police unit to deal with the cartels.
We have put a budget of around $4 million, which is around 500 million, to upgrade the coffee research institutes across the country, and also to provide more seeds and seedlings for our farmers.
Elsewhere, a Nyandarua family has secured justice after the Land and Environment Court cancelled a fraudulent title deed issued in 1998. The case affirmed the family's rightful ownership of the land.
Shamba irudishiwe nyanya yetu ambayo ni Wangari, na hiyo title isiweonekane tena, irudishwe kwa ardhi na itupiliwe mbali.
Meanwhile, in Kericho County, female enrollment in engineering courses at Kericho National Polytechnic is on the rise, driven by national TVET reforms that promote gender inclusivity.
Na mimi wasichana wakuja watu wajiunge na sisi wenye tumefanya welding, sababu hata hatuko wengi na kuna kitu ngumu kukua tuna passion ya kufanya.
In Embu County, the University of Embu has received a major boost after the Safaricom M-Pesa Foundation handed over newly constructed and equipped workshops for its technical vocational education and training institutes for 50.6 million shillings.
We are welcoming the paradigm shift where universities work with partners to influence transformation in the community.
We're very proud as a M-Pesa Foundation. One of our biggest pillars going forward is really working in partnership with the ministry, putting TVET centers across the whole country.
Still on matters education stakeholders in Migori have been urged to embrace the competency-based education curriculum to nurture learners' talents. Speaking at Sony Sugar Comprehensive School's Cultural Day, teachers highlighted its role in developing skills and promoting cultural harmony.
You've seen most children are sitting on their talents, and if they've been given an opportunity the way the CBE has introduced it, we've seen them coming up very strongly, and this one shows that there's diversity in each and every corner.
Finally, youth leaders at a Garissa University Summit have urged young people to embrace technical skills for self-employment and competitiveness in today's job market. The forum stressed shifting from reliance on white-collar jobs to practical training aligned with emerging technologies, while calling on the government to support youth with funding and expertise.
As young people, we are so quick to chase money. But what if we sit down and ask ourselves, let me chase what is making me chase money? When we do that, we come to realize we have so many skills.
Now further abroad, where President William Ruto presented his report on African Union institutional reforms at the 39th Ordinary Session of the Assembly of Heads of State and Government in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. The report recommends a scaling up of the African Union Peace Fund from $400 million to $1 billion, strengthening preventive diplomacy and mediation, closing the early warning and early response gap, reinforcing norms against unconstitutional changes of government, and revitalizing Pan-African solidarity.
The report proposes practical measures to strengthen peace, security, and governance through preventive action, collaboration, and the use of emerging technologies. It recommends a harmonized African governance architecture, Africa Peace and Security Architecture Implementation Plan to eliminate silos and strengthen institutional coherence, and calls on the Commission to establish a dedicated support structure for the panel of the wise to sustain political dialogue in crisis situations. It further proposes scaling the Peace Fund from $400 million to $1 billion, strengthening preventive democracy and mediation, closing the early warning response gap, reinforcing norms against unconstitutional change of government, and revitalizing Pan-African solidarity.
And we'll have more for you in our subsequent bulletins at 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. Now, students from the Animal Health and Industry Training Institute in Kabete conducted a one-day vaccination and deworming exercise for livestock in Kimuka, Kajiado West Sub-County. The initiative was aimed at boosting animal health and improving milk production. The outreach program, led by the students in collaboration with the local veterinary officers, provided services to pastoralist communities grappling with the effects of drought. Public Service Commission Chairperson Francis Major lauded the initiative, as saying the exercise will help farmers increase milk yields and strengthen food security.
For people to participate in these such activities, to deworm, so that the animals are healthier, and when the animals are healthy, their production is higher. We stop relying on quacks. People like you are supposed to reach out there. They are in their final year, and they are doing their practicals on how to diagnose, treat, deworm the animals using various dewormers.
This work has built experience in me, knowledge-wise and practically. Actually, I can say it's an added advantage for me.
Lakini wakati huu tumesaidika sana kwa sababu tukipata dawa ya minyoo, unajua wanyama kama lishe ni kidogo na wamesaidiwa, minyoo hawanta kuwa na minyoo, at least itawasaidia wakulima.
Now, 32 minutes past the hour, we're taking a short breather. When we come back, we'll tell you more, especially on the political front, so don't go too far.
Halo, habari ndugu. Unaongea na Joffrey hapa.
Habari Joffrey.
Mimi nakupigia kuhusu ile request yako ya kupata connection ya stima. Sisi tunaweza kufanyia deal, ulipe pesa kidogo tu.
When the deal is too good, think twice.
Lakini kitu moja inanitangaza na wewe.
Hii ni kuhatarisha maisha yenu nyinyi wenyewe na pia ya wale mnaenda kutokea kwa manyumba zao.
We are diving into the mind.
Stay vigilant to get safely and legally connected to the power grid.
Koti hii imewapata na hatia, na mkiwa mkuridhika na uamuzi wa koti, mko na siku 14 za kurudisha apili.
Shortcut ni ya wakora. Malipo yote ya Kenya Power hupitia channels rasmi peke yake.
We mzee, hizo ni gani unajaribu kunifanyia?
Tumekuja kuwashika, muda bosi utamulikwa. Tumekuja kuwashika.
Hii ni wewe? Can you give me 360? Ulikuwa unakaa clown.
Mimi nilikuwa nakaa hivyo.
Watu inacheseanga na watoto hivi.
Mimi nataka urudi sehemu yako ya kupika chapati.
Obarikiwe na osanga mpaka biashara yako.
Hajabo bwana. Hapa jikani mzuri sana.
Kuna inji aina inzi.
Somalia hakuna.
Ni kwa sababu ya diangati.
Sente.
Mukai.
Uniform iko?
Nilifika mtaa jioni nikapata mamame yoyoma serious manze, ikabidi jitume na hiyo maziwa pande ya osi.
Hii na kusumbua ni macho hauna.
Unasikia wewe. Kwa nini niweze kijua la
wewe mzee?
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Talk to us on our social media platforms at KBC Channel 1 and at Abdiaziz Hashim 2. We'll continue sampling some of the views, even when it pertains to the HSBC currently ongoing at the Nyayo National Stadium. Now, a section of members of the public have raised concerns. Before we reach that particular story, let's update you. We have a developing story here where the government plans to stimulate economic growth in rural communities through phased rural electrification projects across the country, where the Energy and Petroleum Cabinet Secretary Opiyo Wandayi, who is currently launching and inspecting rural electrification projects across the country, says that the national allocation for the financial year, that is 25-26, REREC has allocated 8 billion shillings for nationwide electrification with a priority on areas on low electricity access. Have a look.
Part of our ongoing program to extend electricity to the remotest of places in the countryside. So today, in this ward of Bokoli, yes, and we are happy and hosted by the MP, the Honorable Dan Wanyama, and the Deputy Governor, Madam Jane, amongst other leaders, the area MCA, yeah, Koli. The government of President William Ruto, but to make accessible Kenyans, regardless of their status in life. In fact, this is the only government that has actually invested heavily in matters of electrification at the grassroots. Bungoma, this year has been allocated some 2.1 billion shillings, which will be enough to extend electricity to more than 32,000. And that is the kind of money that in this county since independence. Yeah. It's only under President William Ruto that this is happening. So as a ministry and with myself, to support the president, kumsaidia kutimiza ahadi zake kwa wananchi wa Matunda, wananchi wa Bokoli, wananchi wa na wananchi wa Bungoma kwa jumla. Na sisi tuko na furaha sana kwa sababu wamejitokeza kwa wako na hamu na maendeleo na wanapenda viongozi. Mheshimiwa Rais Ruto kwa vile anawafanyia kazi, watamsaidia aendelee na kazi hiyo. Ndio. Asanteni sana. Thank you. Karibu sana. This particular scheme is commenced about 45 households. This one alone. Yes. This one alone. But this is basically one of the projects we are doing. Here we are heading to Mount Elgon constituency. Yes. And kwa hivyo siku ya leo tumepiga kambi katika hii county ya Bungoma.
And what are your expectations in Mount Elgon as well? Because it's also unique in its own.
It's unique but not so different from here. Wananchi wa Mount Elgon na wananchi wamebaki kwa giza muda mrefu sana, kwa miaka mingi sana. Kwa hivyo hiyo ndio hatua ya kwanza katika hii safari ya kutoa giza.
Thank you.
Tukiongozwa na Mheshimiwa Rais William Ruto.
Well, if you're just joining us, that is the Energy and Petroleum Cabinet Secretary Opiyo Wandayi, currently at Webuye West constituency in Bungoma County, launching the rural electrification project in that particular area. We've just heard our video on Alan Oko asking the questions. He'll file that particular report extensively in our subsequent bulletins. Now, to more news now. A section of members of the public have raised concerns of a group of clergy from the Seventh-day Adventist Church who are allegedly aiding a scheme known as a WSG Opticon to swindle money from innocent members of the church. According to the individuals who claim to have lost money, they were allegedly encouraged to invest amounts in the scheme starting from 40,000 Kenya shillings with promises that their savings will double after a specific period. The group now wants investigative agencies to intervene and probe the matter.
watu wameweza kuwekeza pesa mingi. Kama eneo ambao nimetoka, watu wameweza kupoteza milioni 10 kwa wale ambao tunajua kwa sasa kwa kuingia katika hiyo opticoin.
Kwa hivyo ulikuwa ukiweka kama ni 40,000 unalipo ikiwa 80,000. Wakisha kukoni wanakuja tena wanakuambia usichonde kidole mtumishi wa Mungu.
Condemn the East Kenya Union Conference leadership for protecting perpetrators of WSG opticoin Kenya scam. Despite overwhelming evidence of fraud and exploitation, implicated leaders continue to hold office.
Residents from Isulu and Bushangi, let me not just butcher that. The name of that particular area is in a Holomani constituency, Kakamega County, are demanding fair compensation, transparency and a meaningful inclusion from the government in the proposed extraction of 680 billion shillings gold discovery within the area. They also want clear structures put in place showing how revenues allocated to the county government and the community will be utilized to uplift the area economically. As anticipation builds up towards the project, a key concern for the residents is for the government and investing companies to clearly outline the environmental, health and social implications they will be subjected to once the gold mine extractions kicks off.
Tunajua kutakuwa na relocation, but it has to be minimal relocation na ikuwe structured, and our people should be compensated well kulingana na rates zile ziko.
Hata wengine tunatamani tulale juu ya miti juu sasa vita imekuwa mingi. CS wa mining akuje atuambie map inafika wapi. Sisi hatupingi kampuni, tunataka kampuni kuja, hata ingekuja jana.
Watoto wetu hawana kazi na pesa iko hapa chini. Tunakalia hiyo pesa ifanye kazi gani? Nani atakuja kula hiyo pesa? Na hakuna mtu mwingine anaweza kuifikia.
Tuko tayari kama wakazi wa Ikolomani kukaa chini na serikali, kukaa chini na kampuni ili tujadiliane jinsi ile rasilimali ambayo itatolewa hapa vile itatufaidi sisi kama wakazi wa Ikolomani.
County tuna encourage walete technology mpya ya kumine bila kusukuma watu kwa mashamba zao, because mashamba hayako. Kuna mashamba wapi Kenya hii, mashamba yako limited.
Now, calls to take care of the Mau Mau War veterans dominated the burial ceremony of General Kiambati in Chamuka village, Nyandarua County, as leaders urged the government and other stakeholders to prioritize the welfare of freedom fighters who played a key role in Kenya's liberation struggle. Leaders led by Governor Kiaria Badilisha and former Governor Francis Kimemia said many surviving Mau Mau veterans continue to live in hardship and called on the national government to improve access to healthcare, compensation and land settlement for the aging freedom fighters. They also urged the government to fast-track policies to cushion the veterans against poverty and illness, noting that many are advanced in age and battling health complications.
Hiyo challenge ambayo imetolewa kwa national government ya kwamba wakati hawa viongozi wetu wanatuacha tuweze kushirikiana national government na county government, tupatie hawa watu heshima kwa sababu walipigania uhuru wetu. Tunataka tukitangaza hapa tukiwa Nyandarua, sababu hapa ndio krado ya Mau Mau. Tunataka kuona hiyo composition ikiendelewa. Na nifuate, na mimi nataka kusema nikiwa hapa, tafadhali hiyo contract, kwa sababu najua ilitangazwa na watu wakapra hiyo tenda, hiyo pesa iwachiliwe, tukuje tujenge mji wa wana Mau Mau pale Kenyawe, kwa sababu sisi kama county tumetenga shamba hiyo.
On the political front, political leaders from Kakamega County have criticized the decision by the Orange Democratic Movement (ODM) to oust Nairobi Senator Edwin Sifuna as the party Secretary General. Speaking during the burial ceremony of Alice Indosio in Bumamu, Butere constituency, the leaders say they do not support the party's decision, insisting due process should be followed. The funeral of the mother of Marama West Ward Representative Boaz Omukunda was attended by several leaders. It is here that politics played out as speakers focused on ODM party politics.
Wakati huu tuangalie ni nani tunapatia uongozi. Tusipahatishe.
Ni aibu kwamba sisi wenyewe kama chama hatuwezi fuata sheria zetu. Sheria zetu zinasema ukiwa umekosa unasomewa mashtaka yako.
Kakamega Woman Representative Elsie Mohanda and Ikholomani Member of Parliament Bernard Shinali strongly condemned Sifuna's removal, arguing it was unconstitutional and against the party rules.
Tunasikitika kuona ya kwamba huyu Sifuna hakupewa fair hearing. Kama kuna tatizo, tuko na mzee wetu hapa.
This has COTU Secretary General Francis Atwoli and Cabinet Secretary for Cooperatives Wycliffe Oparanya urged residents to work with the current administration.
Mnajua msimamo wangu. Mimi ni mtu wa ODM. Hapo ndio pato niko. Kwa sababu baba kabla kufe alikupeleka kwa serikali ya Mheshimiwa William Ruto. And the people who are talking about Luhya unity, Luhya division, Luhya divided, Kakamega yote tulipigia Raila Amolo Odinga kura.
Meanwhile, Defense CSO Ipan Tuya has warned government will deal with leaders who will propagate violence during the 2027 general elections.
Wakati huu mambo ya fujo, mambo ya furugu, ambayo ndio watu ambao hawana sera, hawana mwelekeo, watajaribu kutumia nguvu kwa sababu imefika wakati wa siasa, hawana nafasi.
It is for the first time rais wetu amechukua shughuli na amesema tusimamishe maneno ya fujo katika taifa letu kwa sababu hatutaki watoto ambao wanaumizana na maneno mengi.
And Cabinet Secretary for Public Service Geoffrey Ruku has urged Kiambu residents not to be intimidated by DCP party leader Rigathi Gachagua, who he accused of causing divisions.
Musiwekwe uoga, musimame imara, mushikirie hii serikali, mushikirie Mheshimiwa William Ruto na serikali yake.
Elsewhere, Kabete National Polytechnic Chief Principal Dr. Patrick Mushemi has lauded the government for investing in infrastructure aimed at equipping youth with hands-on skills. Dr. Mushemi said the support has enabled the institution to train many students in competence-based education, with over 2,500 students set to graduate this year.
We really have to be flexible in our training. And the flexibility is determined by what is happening in our economy. So we are really trying in our training to make sure that we are answering to what the needs of the society are.
Now, poverty in rural areas continues to hinder students from advancing their education as a majority of parents struggle to pay school fees. Businessman Boniface Ngashira from Kakamega County says many learners have failed to join grade 10 due to high poverty levels. He is urging the government to make education fully free to remove financial barriers. Ngashira also called on parents to prioritize their children's education instead of relying solely on bursaries. He spoke at Emutasa Primary School in Kwisero constituency after donating exercise books to orphaned and needy students.
Baadhi ya wanafunzi hao wanatumia kitabu kimoja kufanya kazi ya masomo karibu yote. Angalau hiyo kutunukiwa ambao wametunukiwa na wanangashika kutawezesha hao wanafunzi kupenda shule, kupenda masomo na kurahisisha kazi ya walimu.
Nashukuru kwa mapokezi ambayo nimepokea hapa ili kuzawadi wale watoto ambao ni mayatima na wengine ambao wenye hawajiwezi kwenye community ili watie bidii kwenye masomo yao ili hao ndio viongozi wetu wa kesho. Na ukiangalia tumekuwa na changamoto mingi mpaka saa hii ukienda unapata kwamba bado kuna wale watoto ambao hawajaingia kwenye grade ya 10 kulingana na hali ya umaskini.
Now here's the latest in the world of sports. Mohamed Salah scored and provided an assist as Liverpool produced a stunning performance to thrash Brighton 3-0 at Anfield to reach the FA Cup fifth round. Meanwhile, Sandro Tonali scored twice as Newcastle United overcame multiple controversial refereeing decisions to knock 10-man Aston Villa out of the FA Cup. To Spain now, Trent Alexander-Arnold claimed an assist on his first start in more than 2 months as Real Madrid hammered Real Sociedad 4-1 to move top of the Spanish La Liga table. Madrid now tops the standings with 60 points from 24 league matches, with Barcelona second on 58 points with 1 game in hand. Elsewhere, Kenya's Ezra Kipchumba, carrying won the 11th edition of the Access Bank Lagos City Marathon. Kipchumba crossed the finish line at the Eco Atlantic City in 2 hours, 11 minutes and 55 seconds to claim the 6.4 million shilling top prize in Africa's only World Athletics Gold Label road race. Uganda's Lomoe Samuel clocked 2 hours, 11 minutes and 59 seconds to finish second ahead of his compatriot, that is Namutala Kefar Lumbasi, who finished third in 2 hours, 12 minutes and 25 seconds.
And this has been a fast elite men's race.
And he has done it.
Opening kilometers.
2 hours. And they are showing that they are the best when it comes to marathon races. And he has made it to the finish line. Exchange of pleasantries from McMahon, all smiles. Job done. What a race from the very get-go.
Well, in just a couple of 1 hour, we'll be taking you back to the Nyayo National Stadium for the HSBC Sevens. Of course, Kenya just completed the 12:50 p.m. game where they beat Uruguay 17-7. And then we'll be having Germany and Belgium starting at exactly 4:18 p.m. We do have Uruguay, who have just been beaten by the Shujaz. We'll be facing Canada at exactly 4:40. And then Kenya will take on the United States of America at exactly 5:02. And of course, if you have not gone there, you can trickle there or also watch us live here on KBC